In this video, you'll learn how to install and wire the Hunter MCC controller using either the included wall mount kit or a metal pedestal. By the end of this video, you'll know how to complete the hardware installation, including wiring for sensors and output modules, and your controller will be ready for programming. For videos about configuring the MCC settings, programming irrigation, and other topics, please check the Hunter MCC playlist. After unboxing the new MCC controller, locate three important items. Wall mount plate. This is taped in place to the back of the controller. Wall mount drilling template. Wall mount hardware, screws, and anchors. Tape the template to the wall using a level to ensure perfect installation. Then, drill the 3 anchor holes and insert the anchors. Note that the eye on the mounting plate will be the height of the display when installation is completed. Insert a plastic anchor into each of the holes. Use the included screws to secure the mounting plate to the wall. Hang the controller on the mounting plate hooks and center it on the plate. Install the last screw from inside the controller enclosure in the bottom anchor to secure the controller in place. The gray metal MCC 800M and stainless steel MCC 800SS controllers can be installed on matching metal pedestals. The Hunter model ICC PED is the gray metal version, and ICC PED SS is the stainless version. The pedestal is designed to be mounted on a newly poured concrete pad at least 20 by 16 inches, or 50 by 41 centimeters. Construct a wood frame appropriately sized for your application, and dig a hole large enough to accommodate the frame plus at least 1 inch on each side for stakes. With your trench and hole dug, measure and cut conduit as needed to connect the controller to the rest of your system. Lay your conduit with 90-degree sweeps attached into the trench, and cover the open ends with tape to prevent debris from entering the conduit. Lay the frame into the hole and hammer in a stake at one corner. Screw the stake to the frame at the desired height, checking with a level to ensure that each corner is at an appropriate height. Repeat this process for the opposite corner, then the remaining corners. After making any adjustments to ensure the frame is level, add about 6 inches of gravel. Compact the gravel to ensure that it does not settle and shift over time. Next, mix your concrete according to the manufacturer's instructions, being mindful of the safety equipment needed and the limited time you'll have to work with the concrete after mixing begins. Gently shovel the concrete into the form. Use the end of the shovel to work it into the gravel. When enough concrete has been added to fill the frame, use a finishing trowel or float to further compact and smooth the concrete surface. Assemble the pedestal mounting hardware and lower the assembly into the concrete so that the conduits stick up from the center opening. Remove the tape from the conduit and clean up any misplaced concrete before the concrete dries. You may also choose to do a final pass smoothing the surface while the concrete is still soft. After the concrete is cured, unscrew the frame and remove the pieces that do not have stakes attached. To save time, you can use a pry bar to lift the stakes out while they're still screwed to remaining frame pieces. Finally, Replace any dirt, mulch, and other materials for seamless integration into the environment. Field wiring can be pulled at any time, but it's easiest to pull wire before installing the pedestal. Remove the nut and washer from each bolt and set them aside. Lower the pedestal onto the bolts and then reinstall the washers and nuts using a 9/16 nut driver. In pedestal mounting, the metal wall plates are not used. The controller is mounted directly on the pedestal and is secured with hardware supplied with the pedestal. Once the controller is attached to the pedestal, continue with the power and other wiring connections as with the wall mount. With the controller mounted, it's time to connect the primary AC power wiring to the transformer. It's easiest to remove the external and interior doors during the installation process. With the outer door open, lift it straight up to remove it from the hinges. Next, open the inner door and locate the gray ribbon cable connecting the face pack to the controller housing. Gently unplug the cable from the housing, leaving it connected to the face pack. While holding the face pack in place, press down on the black release slider to disconnect the top hinge. You can now remove the face pack from the controller housing for easier access to the wiring compartment. Make sure the incoming electrical power is off during these steps. In some markets, a licensed electrical contractor is required to make the following connections, and this is the installer's responsibility. Use a number 2 Phillips screwdriver to remove the wiring compartment cover. Withdraw the wires from the transformer to access them during the next steps. The AC conduit opening is designed for a 1/2 inch or 12 mm female threaded conduit nipple. In metal enclosures, you might need a slightly extended nipple to get enough thread engagement to secure the conduit. Measure and cut the electrical conduit to reach from ground level to the bottom of the controller. Route the electrical wiring from the bottom up into the wiring compartment, and leave enough wire above the conduit to complete the electrical connections. Secure the conduit in the wiring compartment with the included conduit nut. Now we can complete the actual wiring connections. There are 2 different types of connections included with the controller. In North America, connections are commonly made with the wire nuts included. In some international markets, the Europa terminal blocks are required, also included. In either case, it's only necessary to strip about 1/2 inch or 12 mm of incoming power wire to make safe, strong connections. Do not leave additional bare wire extending out of the connector to prevent short-circuiting. The important thing is to connect the right wires. In North America, which is generally 120 volts AC power, this connection is black to black 120 volts hot wires, blue to white neutral wires, and green or green-yellow to green or green-yellow safety ground. The transformer brown wire is not used and should be capped off securely. In international, where 230 volt AC is commonly used, the connections are brown to brown 230 volt hot wire, blue to blue neutral wires, and green or green-yellow to green or green-yellow safety ground. The transformer black wire is not used and should be capped off securely. When these connections are made, replace the wiring compartment door and controller face pack. Reconnect the face pack ribbon cable and remember to turn on the internal power switch. The controller display should light up and go through its startup sequence. It's normal to see a flashing error symbol after connecting the controller to power. The controller has detected that power was disconnected after it was tested at our factory and has logged this power loss event. The earth-ground connection is for equipment protection purposes only, in case of incoming electrical surge. This connection is designed for a single copper ground wire connected to proper earth-ground hardware. The sole purpose of the earth-ground connection is to carry an external electrical surge, such as lightning, to Earth. For this reason, it's specified that the earth-ground wire is routed in its own conduit, separately from other power, sensor, or field wiring. Use the heaviest gauge solid copper wire practical, minimum 10 AWG or 6 square millimeter, and connect to the dedicated copper ground lug, using a flathead screwdriver to tighten. Route in its own conduit and sweep to an 8-foot or 2.5 meter copper ground rod, or a copper plate at least 4 by 36 inches or 10 by 91 centimeters. Ideally, the ground wire is routed at right angles to all other field wiring connections to prevent re-entry of the surge into the controller. Base model MCCs are supplied with a single 8-station output module in the first slot. The additional slots are used for expansion and customization. MCC can be expanded with ICM 800 8-station conventional wiring modules. These can go into any slot, but it's easiest to install them sequentially in the lowest numbered slots. ICM 2200 22-station conventional wiring module. This double-size module can only be installed in slots 5 and 6 in the upper right corner. Note that if you are using only conventional modules, the maximum station count is 54 stations, using 4 ICM 800s and 1 ICM 2200. EasyDM, Easy Decoder output modules. These can be installed in any slot, and each EasyDM can operate up to 54 stations plus a master valve. If you use more than one EasyDM or EasyDM together with other modules, the maximum station count is 108 stations. WVOM wireless valve output modules. These can be installed in any slot, and even a single WVOM can handle up to 108 stations. However, if you need more than one repeater, you can install multiple WVOMs and then set them to different radio channels with the Hunter WVL app. Then you can have multiple repeaters, one assigned to each WVOM. You can mix all output module types in the same controller to get the maximum 108 stations any way you want. To install any of the modules, first, open the blue locking lever. Always insert the little foot into the hole on the bottom or top edge of the slot first. Then, tip into place to connect the pins on the back of the module. Finally, turn the blue locking lever to lock the module in place. The final step after installing your new modules is to press the reset button on the back of the facepack door. This will cause the controller to restart and recognize the new modules and update the total station count. Field wiring may consist of conventional wiring bundles or one or more 2-wire paths, depending on the controller output configuration. Install field wiring in its own conduits with a field wiring sweep. Connect field common wires to the COM terminal on each output module. Then connect the station output wires to the numbered terminals on each output module. EasyDM wiring is connected directly to the EasyDM output module, with color-coded terminals for red and blue output paths. It's not necessary to connect a jumper wire to the EasyDM module PMV terminal to a PMV terminal on the power module in the MCC controller. This is only used in ICC2 and HCC controllers. WVOM wireless output modules do not have field wiring. Instead, you'll connect an antenna, preferably to the external antenna extension kit, ANT-EXT kit, outside the controller enclosure. To install the antenna, remove the existing antenna from the wireless valve output module. Thread the male end of the extension cable to the wireless valve output module. Route the cable out of the cabinet to the desired mounting location. Feed the other end of the cable through the bottom of the antenna mounting base. Position the antenna ground plane as shown, and secure the cable in place using the lock nut on the connector. Reinstall the WVOM antenna and insert the antenna mount adapter in place with the mounting base. Attach the antenna mount cover to the base by twisting the two pieces together clockwise. Bundle up any excess wire inside the controller. Sensor wires should be installed in their own separate conduit and connected to relevant terminals on the controller's power module. There are 3 PMV outputs and a common terminal for the final connection. There are 2 flow sensor terminals, each with a red positive and a black negative connection. It's important to attach the wires from the sensor with the correct polarity, or they will not function. There is 1-click sensor input with 2 terminals for rain or other simple sensor inputs. A unique feature of the MCC power module is the selectable sensor, which is a single terminal that can be assigned a purpose in the controller display. This can be configured as a solar sync input for automatic climate adjustment, a third flow sensor input, or a second click sensor input of any kind. Connect the desired sensor, then use the controller display to go to the device's menu. Choose the selectable sensor, and check the box for the type of sensor you want. After that, the new sensor is available for configuration in the matching devices menus. A CR2032 battery is installed in the back of the facepack. The battery is not activated until you pull the white tab to allow the battery to connect. Simply discard the tab. This battery is not required for program memory. Its only purpose is to retain the current date and time in the event of AC power failure to the controller. The controller is now installed, connected, and ready for programming. To learn more, visit hunterirrigation.com.